News Talk 640 WFNC. We got to get the engineer to fix my button. What do you think? I push my mic, it doesn't work. But the mic that's working right now is Darrell, Allison. You're the Chancellor at FSU University. How are you?
I'm doing well. Pleasure to be with you and your listeners.
You know, we have. It's hard to believe it's been 5 years since you came on board, and there have been some tremendous changes at the university since you've been here. And I want you to kind of highlight some of those because you say you don't take credit for these because there's a lot of good things that are happening, not only for the university, for the students and everything, but also for Fort Bragg and soldiers and everything. Take it away, Chancellor. Give the community an idea of what's been happening, on Murchison Road.
I'll take your lead, Gilbert. I'll lead by saying that our last two names in our university is State University, and so we're grateful to be part of the UNC system. But the first name is Fayetteville, and candidly, me coming in March 15, 2021, I just knew it was a university. There have been some pullback. And we need to lean in. We need to lean into the city of Fayetteville, Cumberland County, and the Sand Hills region, and understanding that yes, we are an academic institution, and we're going to do better than ever before with our students being affordable and looking at ways to make sure that many more of them are crossing the goal line here in 4 years or less. So no doubt about it, we've got to do all we got to do on the academic end, but for the citizens that have never stepped foot as a student on the campus, we take up quite a bit of a land mass off of Murchison. What's the relevance of Fayetteville State University? How are they playing a part in the city and so bridging the gap here with our local officials and community? How do we show up better? And so that's been kind of the focus at the forefront. And 5 years in, Gilbert, I'm happy with our trend. Now we haven't reached the mountaintop yet, but I am excited about the power partnership and how we've leveraged that for our expansion and growth and all the good things.
You and I have talked in the past about the importance of the HBCUs. I went to Dickinson College in Carlisle, Pennsylvania for a couple of years as a pre-law student, and then switched to Central State University in Wilberforce, Ohio. That's where I got my degree. Mm-hmm. And if it were not for that university, I would not be here doing what I'm doing right now because that's where I got involved with ROTC. And I liked seeing people like me doing what we were doing on campus. Mm-hmm. And so the significance of having an HBCU in this community is very important for our students, not only here in Cumberland County, but from across the state who can say, I like what I see. I like seeing people like me doing things. And that's not being a role model. That's being a mentor. And talk about that a minute, because that's what's I think that's the difference in having an HBCU. And you're right, there's some pushback and been some struggles, but it's important for these universities to stay here.
Yeah, we're excited about what students, how they feel about Fayetteville State University. So when I got to Fayetteville State University, we were right around 5,600 students enrollment. Today, Gilbert, I'm excited the fact that we're 7,600. And you're in media, you're in communications.
Sure.
You can't buy enough media to advertise yourself. Truly, with our budget, right? We don't have that kind of budget. So what is happening is actually the student to student that the students are talking. The students are communicating, and Fayetteville State University is registering, because what they say about Fayetteville State University, you can substitute the name Fayetteville in its family state university. And so we've been very intentional, not just in the academic, making sure that we got great programs, cybersecurity, supply chain, but we're ever mindful of the kind of students that are coming to our campus. 82% of all of our students come from Tier 1, Tier 2 counties. So we lead the UNC system by far in that statistic. And with that, we have the wraparound services to ensure that if you begin a thing, We want you to finish. And we know we have to resource a little bit different in order for the prototypical student at Fayetteville State to get there, and it's much appreciated. And they will then advocate, and they will then advertise and say, "Hey,
Well,
check out. There's another FSU in the
that's right.
nation. Not Florida State, not Fresno State, but Fayetteville State."
And look, and you and I talk about this off camera a second here. I tell Cumberland County Schools, don't be CCS, be Cumberland County Schools, and then you can call it CCS after. But the first reference, you got to market and brand yourself. And Fayetteville State University is doing a good job at that in terms of knowing who you are and seeing the brand there. Let's not mess this up. Attitude check, and then it's Bronco Pride? Or is it Bronco?
No, you got it right.
Okay, because I messed that up.
Let's do it. Can I get an attitude check?
Bronco Pride?
There you go.
Okay, but see, I messed that up last time when the students were in here. I said Bronco Pride, and they looked at me like I was crazy. So I've been practicing on that. Yeah, but look, and we joke about that, but that says a lot about what the university is all about. And you make a good point that we don't need TV, we don't need a lot of things because the internet is here, and this is where these kids are right now. They're on here. Are you on there with them? You guys are on there with them, and that's a good thing. But the other part of that is the messaging that reflects what they physically see on campus. And I was reading Days of Williams' article. It's a fantastic article. You got to go to City View and see the nice work she did on your 5 years at the university. And there's one section talking about you see a lot of cranes on campus. Yeah. Talk about the significance of what's happening there in terms of the capital budget.
It's a powerful moment. So we have staff and administrators that have been working on the campus, a couple of going on 50 years.
Wow. That's significant.
40 years, 30 years. And so, we hit the ground running, Gilbert, as you mentioned, and, make note that in a lot of ways, Fayetteville State University is under-resourced. Just a snapshot of what I mean by that. One of the things I asked for when I got to Fayetteville State from the Budget and Finance division, I said, "Hey, I want a capital investment outlay from the state to our university over the last 30 years." And again, not demonizing anyone, just the facts are the facts. Of the 30 years, 21 of those years, it was zero. It was zero. And on our campus, Gilbert, we have buildings, literally buildings, and not make-believe. 1920, 1930, 1940, 1950, 1960. The majority of those buildings are residents. So we've got some new things coming out of the ground, but we also have to maintain, and we've got some really, really old. And so we were successful in securing a major capital infusion of dollars, 200 plus million to date. And so we're excited about that. But what hit me on the campus, a longtime staffer said to me, "Chancellor, do you understand the significance here?" And I didn't quite get it. He said, "There hasn't been a crane on our campus in almost 2 decades. And if you go to our campus today, that's all you see. We get a little bit of pushback from our folks in terms of parking, but it really kind of underscores
growing pains.
Yeah.
But you know what? When you say $200 million, that is a drop in the bucket in comparison to what Duke and Chapel Hill and those schools have gotten over the years during that same time period. And you may look at the endowment and what the alumni are able to do and all those things. But fair is fair in terms of dividing state dollars amongst the state institutions. And that just has not happened over all these years.
Yeah,
that's the point you're making.
And what do we do with it? So we are a resourceful people. So how do you leverage those dollars? And this is one of the things I'm really excited about. I'm going to lean in on this one, Gilbert. Understanding that at the same time that we received over 200, the county, when you add ours up, had received about $500 million. This is about 4 years ago. And shout out to our officials, state official, Devier, who's now, he was then state senator, and Tom McGinnis and representatives, Lucas and others. They work very hard. Bipartisan effort to help secure dollars for this region. But what I wanted to make sure that we did, because again, we're the sixth largest city in the state, but we're in a tier one county. Again, back to the point I was making, if I was not a student at Fayetteville State University, what's the impact? And so income, the thrust and the birth of the Fayetteville Cumberland Regional Entrepreneur Small Business Hub. And the key was, if we're going to have across this street on Murchison now, if Fayetteville State University is going to have over $200 million of new construction, things of that nature, how do we keep that dollar within the local? How can we circulate before that dollar goes out of Cumberland and out the region? How can we circulate those dollars and maximize the opportunity for our small business? It's not enough to say that we've got one of the leading business economics colleges in the nation. What does that mean for me? What does that mean for me, Darrell, who's got a painting company? What does that mean for me, Gilbert, that's got construction, and things of that nature? So we have been really excited to say that even in this thrust, and we're seeing higher retention rates and graduation rates and things of that nature, our hub. And I want our listeners, if they got a visit, they need to get over there. It doesn't cost them anything. We've been able to, since 2022, when we launched in partnership with the city and county, over 150 million contracts have been awarded. And a lot of that is from Cumberland and the 9-county region that makes up the Sand Hills region. We're really excited.
Well, you and I have had this conversation about the university being more than that plot of land on Murchison Road. You've done a great thing in making an investment. The university owns Midtown Bronco Square. You've invested in that.
That's right.
And so to have the foresight to say, we're just not going to lease these buildings and put the bookstore over there. We're going to buy it. It sends a message not only to the board of directors, it sends a message to the students that says we can.
That's right.
And so it's lead by example, and so that part is great. Talk a little bit more about some of the expansion, because the Fayetteville State University is a gateway to Fort Bragg. And so you can't come up the Merc. I used to live on State Avenue, or right around there. As a matter of fact, I had a Mustang. I used to go back to Fayetteville State University in the early '80s. I put my sound system in the car because it was quiet back there.
Wow.
It's not quiet back there right now. Things are really booming on the campus, and you've expanded beyond this. And you have a lot of concern about the whole corridor there.
That's right.
Talk about that and your vision.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the reasons why we renamed what was formerly Bronco Square to Bronco Midtown. It was a tilt to our strong leadership led by our fabulous mayor, Mitch Colvin, and the council, with this focus, even with the county, of kind of reimagining downtown, the city of Fayetteville. We wanted to tag that Bronco Midtown because we're about 0.5 miles away from downtown. So again, think local, act local. Again, Fayetteville State University. And for us, how do we now think about it from an economic standpoint, that we have the hub providing opportunities, but let's also get some brands here that are attractive and world renowned. So Chick-fil-A, and you may have a Starbucks on the campus, and McAllister's, and what does that mean? That means jobs, right? That means these are brands and companies that's pretty strong. That also means that we have revenue, Gilbert, that is our own, if you will. So mama may have, papa may have, but God bless the child that has his own. And so us really thinking about, as we elevate, as we keep that dollar in Fayetteville, that's going to make for a stronger Fayetteville. And so with the city and the county, if we can check that box with them, what other projects can we do here?
If you're just joining us right now, 7:52 is the time. We've got Fayetteville State University's Chancellor, Darrell Allison, in here, celebrating his 5th year. There was a lot of discussion when you came that the Fayetteville State was going to become UNC Chapel Hill Fayetteville. That didn't happen. You said, you didn't say over your dead body, but I could tell you said with great strength that would not happen, and it hasn't happened. And I think you've won over this community who had doubted that there was going to be some significant changes that they didn't like. When you have the mayor alumni, Marvin Lucas alumni, you have folks in this community who stayed here and graduated from the university. You have a lot of major support for what you're doing and how things are changing. We just have a couple more minutes here. Give us your vision of the future of where we're going. A lot of stuff done with the military in terms of tuition, and student enrollment is growing. What do we have in terms of dorms on campus now?
Yeah, we are excited. We have nearly 2,000 students that can reside on the campus of Fayetteville State University. But here's a little known fact, a big deal. Of our 7,600 students, about 70% of them, Gilbert, they're commuter students. So in addition to us celebrating Bronco Pride Hall, that's what we have, the new residents there. Later this year, we're going to complete our nearly 300 parking deck. Now, that won't get a lot of praise from the 2,000 students, right, that live on campus. Let me tell you, for the commuter students, that's huge. And that's a reflective of our university, if you will. So it's a lot of excitement around that. We have the College of Education. That's nearly $70 million that will be completed. We were founded on education.
I was just going to make that point, that a lot of people forget that. And it's not something to be forgotten, but the point is, there with the nursing program, the medical school at Methodist University that you guys have ties in. There's a lot going on that's way beyond the education, but you never forget the roots.
Oh yeah, let me tell you, and we're excited. Cumberland County Public Schools, the fabulous superintendent here that's with us here, and Bracey, who the Bracey family educators, and they're tied to Fayetteville State. We're excited. Little known fact, we have not one but two early college high schools on the campus of Fayetteville State University. So we see this as 1867 and others, where we're founded on education, if you will. We see this as a 2.0 effort here in the 21st century. What does that look like? How can we be even stronger for our future teachers, principals, administrators, et cetera?
You and I can talk for hours.
Yes,
Time's
sir.
running out here. I'm going to be over at Evans Metropolitan Church. They're putting a program together.
Wow.
I'm the MC. But that church in the basement, the foundation, and people don't know the history of all of the things that happened to have a Fayetteville State University, to have an E.E. Smith, and all the founding fathers. We don't have to wait for Black History Month. Black History Month is every day in this community.
That's right.
And we're proud of the individuals. I want to just say this also. When you have someone who's the first Black this or first Black that, I tell everyone, I hate that celebration and celebrating that. And you know why? It's pretty simple. That you're going to tell me that here in 2026, it took us to that point to find someone that was qualified. I said that's not true. There have been people who've been qualified who haven't had an opportunity. So as a reporter and a journalist, when I see a story that, for example, the mayor of Fuquay-Varina, for example, is the first Black mayor, that's not my opening line. That's not my opening line. My opening line is, here's a person who is qualified, who's doing this job. And we're glad to have them. Oh, and by the way, they just happen to be.
Great.
And so until we, as a people, start looking at ourselves like that, we're going to keep celebrating the first this and that. We should be just upset about that and not bring that out. Now, I don't know. Let's have the young adult choir sing God is trying to tell me something. I feel like I'm preaching here. But Chancellor, you got another minute here to give your spiel. Let me get off the pulpit here.
Yeah, well, I'll tag on. I may put $1 or two in the preacher's pan there.
Put it on the building, the church building.
What a testament to our founding fathers. 1867, Gilbert. These men started what would ultimately be Fayetteville State University. And this is what I like to say, back to our roots here. We all know why they started a university. It was for people of color. But here's what I'm saying here in 2026. When you look at our 7,600 students, when you look at the fact that 60% of our students are Black, 40% are other, what is that saying? I actually say we're doubling down on the power of HBCUs. Why? Because when we started directing and targeting opportunities for one community, we are so good, Gilbert. This is where you're getting at. We've been so dominant. We've been so great that other communities are choosing Fayetteville State University, our military, students near and far, not just in Cumberland. And that is a testament. That is a testament to our historical Black college and university.
All right, well, I throw the challenge out to you and Charles and everything. You're on here today. Let's make it a habit and try to get you out, because there's too many great things happening for us not to talk about them. So these mics belong to the community, just like that. This is WFNC, Fayetteville's first radio station. The mics belong to the community.
Yeah, and thank you, Gilbert. I want you to. I know we got to end up, but thank you. You had a lot of things you could have done or could do. But I really appreciate you doubling down back here in Fayetteville and doing what you do. And so it's an honor and a privilege to be with you and your listeners and viewers.
Well, we're going to get you back out here. We've gone over all kind of commercial time here. All right, that's okay. You're listening to News Talk 640. We're WFNC.